Welcome back, my lovely lovelies. This is fabulexmakeup. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. We back. Today I am showing how I'm doing my feed-in braids for the first time. I have been practicing cornrows and the technique and gripping and all that kind of fancy stuff since my hair's been growing out on myself for the past couple months. So I decided I was going to debut the first time I have ever done some feed-in braids. So I've gotten the whole French braid thing down. So that was just the whole feeding in extra hair. And I'm using Kanekalon hair today, 100%. So first off, I am untwisting what is left over from the night before. I washed my hair and then twisted it down just so it was already stretched. And now what I'm doing is stretching it even more by sectioning it off into smaller sections and braiding it out. And I let this sit, I think, for the whole day, if not the next day that I filmed. I believe I lifted in all day, so it was about a 3-day process for this to get my hair all kind of stretched out so I could manipulate it. But even then, it wasn't as stretched as it could have been, so I'm still working on that whole stretching technique. But this is a couple of my favorite ways to get my hair all stretched, so go ahead and do the other ones off camera. And so once I've got all of these sections braided out, what I'm doing now is pinning each braid in the opposite direction that it's laying. So if it's laying toward the left side of my head, I'll pin it kind of up and over my head towards the right. And then what I did was wrapped it up for the night and went to bed. A little quick video magic. So I did a couple of braids off camera so I could get my flow going. So now what I'm doing to prepare is undoing just a couple of braids, not all of them, but a couple of braids enough to have a big enough section to work with. And then once I've gotten as many braids as I want to work with, I will section off the next section of hair that I'm going to be working with to braid. Get a pick. I would recommend a pick, honestly, when you're working with 4C hair, especially if you aren't working with water or anything like that. You want to keep it dry. Using a pick is a lot easier, or just, finger detangling, but my hair was already pretty detangled, so I was like, go ahead and use a pick. But don't just go in with a pick, willy-nilly. Like I said, I'm using 100% Kanekalon hair today. This is from Sally's, and this hair is rough to use, y'all. I would not recommend using this as a first timer, but I made it work because it was cheap. Otherwise, I'll probably just order some cheaper stuff that was from Amazon that's silkier and better recommended than this stuff I was using. But I'll link all the products I've been using in the description box below. So what I did next was put on my edges and along the roots of the section I'm working with was some beeswax. It's 100% beeswax from Murray's. And now what I'm doing is French braiding that small section, basically French braiding it. And before adding in any hair, I'll actually just braid my own hair first because I had enough hair in the front. I was actually really surprised. My hair was thick enough in the front that I didn't have to add hair till, I don't even know, like 1/3 back towards my head. So you can see I'm just adding very small sections of Kanekalon hair into each feed-in braid. It's really hard to talk about what I'm doing, y'all. Plus, this is my first time, so I wasn't quite catching how I was doing it, so I do apologize, but I'm gonna be doing a whole lot more of these type of videos, so they're gonna be more detailed and closer up so you can see what my fingers are actually doing. But I'm trying to get the verbals to you as best as possible. Best way I could probably describe what I'm doing is a basic braid, and that is, taking 3 strands of hair. You're gonna take the left side I think I take the left side underneath the middle and then cross the right and then bring the middle down and then repeat. I think that's how I do it. I'm quite sure. But anyway, just a basic braid, but I'm also feeding a little bit of hair as I go, and that will create the cornrow and also this French braid effect. And when it comes to feeding in the Kanekalon hair, as I said, I'm using little bit by little bit because I don't want to use too much at the beginning and have this bulky braid. Otherwise it doesn't look as, realistic and smooth transition from smaller to bigger parts of the braid. As far as adding in the Kanekalon hair, I grip with my right hand really, really tight, and I have, I think, 2 sections. It's usually the right and the middle section I hold and grip. And then I take my left hand and I'll grab whatever piece I have laying down and I'll throw it over my head, and I will link only one leg of the Kanekalon hair into, I think my grip is my finger, my my index finger and my thumb, and I will place one of the legs of the hair into that and then start to braid and feed in the rest of the Kanekalon hair. So it's really hard to describe, but as you can kind of see what I'm doing, you kind of put the 2 and 2 together. But like I said, I'll be doing more detailed videos, so it won't just sound like jibber jabber. go ahead and do one more braid for y'all. So I zoomed in just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So just a regular braid, little bit by little bit, adding in a little bit of hair to the braid as I'm going back. Now you can see I start right off with adding in the Kanekalon hair because the hair towards the sides of my hair, towards the sideburn area, are a lot thinner. So I need a little bit more hair to grip and bring in the rest of that hair. So you can see I'm kind of flipping this hair over and leaving one of those strands out. You see one of those strands is left out, and I'm braiding the other one in. And then as I'm starting to tuck the braid as I go and start to get my pattern going, I'll wrap that other leg in, and it'll just start to, it just starts to, do it itself. So you can see I did it again, leave the leg out, braid once, and then snatch that right back up in there, and then start to braid down. So thankfully I caught enough of me showing you the Kanekalon process and me leaving that leg out. So hopefully this process is less jibber jabber with some of those visuals I got going for you. But leaving one of those legs out as you're feeding in the Kanekalon hair has helped me at least a lot, trying to figure out how to manipulate the hair and what works for my fingers and how I learn and everything like that. So it's just one of those learning processes. I heard a couple of people recommend that kind of technique as you're feeding hair in. So I tried it out and it worked just fine for me, stress-free. Now I know my parts be looking ratchet, y'all. I'm still trying to get those down, and I know the back was looking a little bit girl, but I was gonna leave it because I was more happy with the parting on the top of my head because I was like, hey, at least I did that right. So I'm still getting there. I ain't mad about it. So lay my edges a little bit with some Gorilla Snot, and then I'm taking some foam wrap around my hair just to make sure that all the frizzies and everything is just laying nice and clean and flat. And you can you just let it air dry underneath a wrapped silk scarf, or you can do the optional dryer method. And then what I did for my ends, put them in some hot boiling water, and then be careful with that because take a towel. You don't want to burn yourself now. The boiling water helps seal the ends of the hair so you don't have to take a flame to them or even some rubber bands, and it'll just stay like that in the braids nice and tight. And so after I think this was probably about an hour, maybe 2 hours because I did my makeup as well, this is the final result, and they actually lasted about 2.5 weeks. I got a little bit fuzzy around the second week, but I was really happy with this, y'all. And let me know in the comments about any tips or any other hair looks that you want to see me do, because I'm about to get in this. It's 2019, y'all. We about to get it. These are nice and long too. I love that about it. They could have been a little bit longer, but I wasn't mad. Thanks for watching, y'all, and don't forget to subscribe. Much love.